So this Kujaku, completely different bloodline. This is from Marusaka Koi Farm, Teru's fish, and he's probably my favorite Kujaku breeder. He does two kinds of Kujaku. One is this style, which is Gin Rin Kujaku, and he also does a red Kujaku, which is not unlike this variety. So if you notice, this Kujaku has a little bit lighter orange color.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the different style. And then if you notice, it has that great reticulation, but where you can also see, if you look really closely, you can see that Gin Rin.
Yeah, see
that extra pizzazz.
Yeah, yeah. See a little heavier in the white section.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah, exactly. Because the white reflects better than the black does.
And the black is super dark. Is that just further along in the development, or is it just a quality that?
It's the style of Kujaku. So again, Marusaka's Kujaku has that real dramatic edging, and that's where we get the peacock from. So if you think of like a peacock's feathers coming up, it's that sort of that feather like this. It's round and it's got that sort of nice eye or dot there. That's exactly what it's emulating there.
Definitely.
So that's where we get Kujaku from, or peacock. So here is a Gin Rin Kujaku, really rare variety, and it's important to note that these are two different bloodlines. These are from two different families, from Koda Koi Farm, and the one we just put in, the Gin Rin Kujaku, is from Marusaka. And so you have different qualities about them both. You notice the red or the orange is a different shade, and the type of reticulation is a little bit more defined on this variety. If you notice, the orange spots here have a really dramatic reticulation or black to them, and that's that Matsuba, that netting, that peacock that we like. Also, if you look at where the white is, you can see a shimmer, as if the platinum wasn't enough. It has a really reflective attribute about each scale. Something I really like about this Kujaku is it's got a really cool, interesting pattern. Something that's nice, I mentioned that a Kujaku should sort of have a Kohaku-like pattern, but because this is not a Kohaku, this is a Kujaku, we can stray away from that a little bit and have something that's a little more unique and exciting. Notice it has sort of a spot of Marutan on the top there, and this really cool sort of zigzag that goes through.
Is this one almost considered a tancho, but even though that red's touching it, it's like at that little... It's not right.
Not quite there, but it... Hey-o!
Oh, now.
Kujaku, as you can see, are related to the Shisui and the Asagi.
Like they're jumpers,
the way
right.
they jump, right.
Maybe, I don't know where before that jump happened, we were talking about, they would call that a tancho because it's the red spot on the forehead, right?
Right, exactly. I wanted to point out, too, that because it has a pattern behind the tancho, we call that Marutan.
Marutan, right.
Yeah,
right,
Marutan, circle.
So it'd be interesting to know if when that fish was Tosai, like they were talking about, hey, Marutan, this maybe could be worth more.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And then the red touched.
Yeah, and that's a great point because I know for a fact Marusaka, he has a lot of Marutan Kujaku, so I'm sure that's exactly what happened. And then in the mud pond, probably some more orange showed up that they didn't see before.
Right. More development.
Yeah.
Well, they're gorgeous. There's definitely some pizzazz right there. And as the sunlight hits it, it really pops out.
Oh, exactly. So, the next thing I want to show you is sort of a hybrid, the Deutz version or the scaleless version of the Kujaku.
And that comes from the bloodline once again.
Exactly,
Shisui.
Shisui.
All right.
So if you notice, this fish will look a lot like a Shisui.
Okay.
Let's check it out.
Let's get it in the bowl.